Hey Indianapolis Motor Speedway fans, Doug Bowles here with you for another episode of Behind the Bricks. We're right here in front of the Dex Imaging Media Center. Last time, on the last episode, you probably had an opportunity to see us in the old Media Center area across the racetrack that was there from 1961 until about 2000 when this one was built. I want to give you an opportunity now to see what our media goes through when they're here at the Speedway for events, where our drivers show up for their press conferences, and all the things that revolve around all that media you see around our events starts right here in the Dex Imaging Media Center. Let's go in and check it out. So this media center, we say it's the largest sports media center in the world. We have about 1,200 accredited media that come to the Indianapolis 500. About 400 of them will actually base themselves up here on the fourth floor of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A lot of this stuff right along here as we walk through the hallway would be press releases, things that teams and drivers would put out that our media would want to see. And then the media themselves have an opportunity to get assigned to each one of these seats, as you can see, all the way to the back. In the very, very far back, where it says IMS, they're podcast booths, so they're set up there. So for folks that are doing podcasts, it gives them some quiet, some good acoustics there. We also have a radio booth that sits in the back so that folks can call the race from in that booth. But again, this is the actual working press room. It's been here since 1999 and 2000, and this is where all the media, especially on our big days, it is full of media, and they are trying to cover the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. My favorite part about this media center is the view that the media have. Most of them, while they're working, they have the video board so they can watch everything, but they have an outstanding view, and especially at the start of our races here. This is lined with folks wanting to watch the start of the race from right here just north of the Yard of Bricks. So let's go check out the rest of the media center. So most of you know this was a difficult year at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for some of our most important media folks. First we lost Bob Jenkins, and then recently we lost Robin Miller. Robin Miller covered the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and in particular the Indianapolis 500 and the NTT IndyCar Series like nobody has ever covered it. Passionate about it, passionate about you fans, answered your emails, all the things that he did. This is where Robin Miller always sat. Marshall Pruitt and I had an opportunity shortly after Robin passed to go ahead and exclusively make this forever Robin Miller's seat. So this will be saved for Robin, and while Robin won't be here, certainly his spirit will be here. And the passion that many of us have for the Indianapolis 500, a lot of it is because of the information that Robin Miller continued to get to us so that we could continue to follow the sport we love so much. So we were pretty proud to be able to do this. Obviously going to miss Robin, but this is certainly a great way to pay tribute to a man who cared about the Indianapolis 500 and our sport like no other. So we just got off the elevator here on the second floor of the media center. It's actually one of my favorite parts of this floor. On the very north end, oftentimes we'll make that into a makeshift photo studio. We had a really cool photo shot a few years ago of Dario Franchitti and Helio Castroneves together, getting their photo taken with the board, promoting the two three-time winners that were going to be in the Indy 500. Who knew that one of those three-time winners would be a four-time winner, and in 2022, driving for 5, and that's Helio Castroneves. But that was one of my favorite moments down there because they had a little battle there because Dario was late, Helio was early. They were waiting on each other, and you know, there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on when you're trying to psych out the other guy to beat him in the Indy 500. But if you go back in that a few years ago, you'll see that photo, the two of them together with the board. Actually, little hint here, we had to take the shots separately because one was late and one was early, and then we had to Photoshop it together. So they actually weren't together back there in that little photo studio. All right, so the last stop here in the media center at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as we walk out of the Dex Imaging Media Center, we walk onto our decking. We have the second and third floor decks. On race morning, these are great. A lot of the local television stations actually broadcast from here, so you're watching that local television coverage as we lead into the NBC coverage of the Indianapolis 500. But I love the little catwalk here. There's a catwalk on the second floor that actually walks across to the back of Victory Podium and right into the pagoda. So when drivers get done celebrating in Victory Podium, they walk right across here and can get right into the media center and upstairs for those press conferences. It makes it really convenient, easy to do. It's fun for the drivers. They can wave it at fans. But this is a pretty good place to sort of stop this tour of the Dex Imaging Media Center, the current media center at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, because right across the way, those little glass windows right underneath the paddock penthouse, that's where it all started in 1961 with the media center here at the Speedway that was there for about 40 years before we built this one. So hopefully you had a great time learning a little bit more about our media center here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we look forward to seeing you again on Behind the Bricks here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.